Jean-Pierre Bemba's legal team say the former vice president of the Democratic Republic of Congo should be released immediately.
Given that Mr. Bemba's co-defendants are at liberty and have been since October 2014, given that Mr. Bemba has served 4.5 times the initial sentence and 9/10 of the maximum possible sentence under the statute, we respectfully submit that there's no legal or objective justification to separate Mr. Bemba from his family for 1 day further.
The defendant was not in court for this hearing, where they're discussing whether he should remain in detention for his conviction for a separate charge relating to obstruction of justice, for which he was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Prosecutors now want it extended to the maximum 5 years. Last week, Bemba's conviction for war crimes and crimes against humanity was overturned at the ICC's appeal chamber, ending his 18-year sentence, the longest the court had ever delivered. Jean-Pierre Bemba was originally arrested and transferred to The Hague in 2008, but there were frequent delays to his trials. His initial conviction back in 2016 was celebrated as a win for the court, as it was the first time that sexual-based crimes had been successfully prosecuted at the ICC. The ICC appeals chamber acquitted Bemba, saying that factual evidence from the trials chamber was insubstantial to prove the now 55-year-old failed to prevent his troops from raping and pillaging after he sent them into the Central African Republic in 2003 to quash a coup against then CAR President Ange Felix Pétasse. International justice observers say this case highlights how difficult ICC convictions are to secure.
The other worrying sign is that it almost provides leaders with bad intentions with a roadmap of what to do, not to be held accountable, pretend to set up a commission of inquiry, set up something that looks like accountability for your troops but does not necessarily deliver any justice.
Releasing Jean-Pierre Bemba would be likely to disturb the victims of the crimes, but could also have political ramifications in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Mr. Bemba has long been a rival of sitting President Joseph Kabila. Jack Parrock, CGTN, Brussels.
Well, Jack Parrock joins me now from Brussels with the latest on the Bemba release. Jack, what grounds have the judges given for his release?
Well, essentially, the judges have said that because the original acquittal happened last Friday, that the only detention, the only sentence that he could be kept in prison for would be the sentence for witness tampering, which he was already given a 1-year sentence for, and now he started serving his sentences back in 2013. It's now 2018, and the maximum sentence that he could have got for that witness tampering charge was 5 years. So he's already served 4.5 years, which is why the defence team said that he had to be released. Also, interestingly, the other co-defendants on that witness tampering case were allowed to be free during the trial. So while the prosecution is pressing for an extension to that sentence, which could only go for 6 months, the defence have said that he needed to be released while he's waiting for that trial to go through, and the judges agreed.
Well, his war crimes conviction was overturned. Why was the prosecution opposed to the court's decision?
Well, this is a really extremely interesting case that's really shown exposed a bit of a hole in the ICC. Essentially, the trial chamber is meant to try for the facts of the case. Were the crimes committed? And they said that definitely the crimes were committed. And essentially what's happened in appeal and what happened on Friday was that the appeals chamber said that he cannot be connected to those crimes. There's no proof that he is the man that directly ordered the crimes that were committed. So while the ICC says the crimes were definitely committed, there's no direct proof linking him. And there's been a real sort of look at the ICC now, since that's happened, to look at whether it can operate really to bring people to justice if the two chambers aren't working well together.
And do we know when exactly he'll leave detention?
No, that is exactly what we're all trying to find out right now. I'm hitting my phone incredibly hard to ring everyone at the International Criminal Court and surrounding it to find out when he will be released. Will we get pictures of him? We know that the court has ordered him not to speak publicly about the case because it's ongoing, but we're all trying to find out exactly when he'll be released and how that will play out.
Okay, thank you for that update. That was Jack Parrock for us there in Brussels.